This lesson is part of a series of a grammar course. If you haven't watched the previous two lessons, you can click the above card. In today's lesson, you're going to learn the structure of the simple past. You're going to learn the rules of the simple past. And most importantly, you're going to learn some of the most common errors that even advanced learners make when they speak English. So I'm going to focus on these. And last but not least, I'm going to tell you how to pronounce the simple past questions and negative forms in a natural way like a native speaker. So stay tuned and let's dive into the lesson. So the first thing that you need to know about the simple past tense, it's why is it called the simple past? Simple past because the structure of this tense is simple. It's easy. All you need to do to use a past tense is to use a subject and then the verb in the past tense. So it's that simple. Yes. So I ran, this is a simple past tense. It's a sentence used in the past. I ran last night. I cleaned the house yesterday. Last week I visited my grandmother. Last night we talked about ourselves. Last week we studied French, etc. So all you need to do is a subject and then the verb in the past tense, and there you have it. That's so easy. If you want to practice, you can pause this video for a couple of minutes and then write 10 examples in the comment box below, and then I will correct your sentences and give you feedback. So what about verbs in English? How can I make the verbs in the past tense? It's super easy. Look at these verbs. All these verbs are called base verbs. Base verbs that we use in the present simple tense. The infinitive. If you want to make past tense forms, you need to conjugate or change from present into past. And this is easy. In English, there are two types of verbs in the past tense. There is the regular verbs. Most of English verbs are regular. Regular means they have similar pattern. All verbs base, you need just to add an ed to the end of the verb. For example, walk, walked. Walk in the present, walked in the past. All you did here is you added an ed to the verb. It's simple. So walk, walked, talk, talked, love, loved, call, called, play, played, watch, watched, etc. So most of English verbs, you just add an ed to the verb and there you have a past simple verb. It's easy. And there are a handful of verbs, a number of verbs you need to memorize. These verbs, you do not add an ed, but the base verb, it changes sometimes entirely. For example, swim, swam, eat, ate, run, ran, etc. So these verbs are called irregular verbs. Irregular means they are not regular, they don't have the same pattern like those before. So what you need to do is you need to memorize those few verbs. These verbs, you just memorize them. If you memorize them, then you can change, you can conjugate or change any verb from present into past tense. So I'm going to give you a link down below of the verbs, regular and irregular verbs. You can start memorizing some of the irregular verbs. And if a good way to memorize the irregular verbs, you can use them in your daily conversations. You can use them in your writing. So this way you will never forget and you will automatically speak right without making any mistakes. Now that you have learned the structure of the past simple tense, the question is, when can I use the past simple tense? Anything that happened or an action that happened in the past, you use the past simple tense. Usually it comes with an adverb or adverbial phrase that can tell you when this thing happened in the past. For example, yesterday, a minute ago, last night, last week, last year, when I was a child. All these are time expressions that tell you that this action happened in the past, not in the present, or it has any connection with the present. So it's simple. Now the question is, can I use the past simple tense without any adverbs or adverbial phrase? Like for example, I forgot my keys. It's in the past. I'm not using any time expression in the past tense. Yes, it's okay. You can use that without any time expression, without any adverbial phrase, but the meaning of the past tense is implied in the context, in the sentence. For example, if you say, oh, I slept like a baby. I slept like a baby. The speaker and the listener, they both understand that we're talking about the last night. So if it is understood from the context, you don't need to use an adverb or adverbial phrase. Rule number 3, it's very important. When you talk about habits, but in the past, for example, my grandfather always smoked cigarettes. My grandfather always smoked cigarettes. This is a habit in the past. My grandfather doesn't smoke right now. He doesn't smoke in the present. He passed away, for example, 5 years ago. And I'm talking about a habit in the past. My grandfather always smoked cigarette. So you understand now. If you talk about habits in the past, you can use adverbs like always, often, sometimes. Those adverbs that you use in the present, you can also use them in the past tense, but you talk about past habit. Now let's talk about 4 rules that even advanced learners make mistakes. So the first one is, you have adverbs and adverbial phrases in the past tense, right? You have in summer, in 2020, you have like in last week, last night, yesterday. All these adverbs and adverbial phrases are used at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. Do not use them between the subject and the verb. Why? Because they break the flow of the meaning of the sentence. So to avoid that, you only use these adverbs and adverbial phrases at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. For example, yesterday I woke up early. I woke up early yesterday. These 2 sentences are correct. I used the adverb yesterday at the beginning of the sentence and at the end of the sentence. These are fine. But if you say, I yesterday woke up early, this is wrong, especially if you are writing, especially in formal writing. So to avoid this one, always use adverbs and adverbial phrases at the beginning of the sentence and at the end of the sentence. Is this clear? I hope it's clear. The second rule, there is something called, if you want to emphasize that you did something in the past, you know what to do? You need to use the auxiliary verb did. Oh, how? You can say, I did read this book. I did read this book. It means I read this book, but I am putting an emphasis on the sentence. So if you want to emphasize something that you did do in the past, you use the auxiliary verb did. For example, I did learn English. I did read this book. I did drink coffee in the morning. So I'm just emphasizing. You use did plus the base verb. Do not say did and then also the past verb again. So it's only the did and then the base verb. Rule number 3. This rule, you use the past tense if you want to express a wish. I wish and then you express something, what you wish, you express it in the past. A lot of learners make mistakes when they express their wishes. They use the present simple tense. No, use always the past simple tense when you express a wish. For example, I wish I had a car. I wish I had a car. I don't have a car, but I wish I had a car. It would make my life easy. I wish I bought a laptop. I didn't buy a laptop, but I wish I bought a laptop. I wish I learned French. I didn't learn the French, but I wish, this is a wish. I wish I learned the French. So if you want to express your wish, always use the past simple tense. It's super easy. You just need to practice. It'll come automatically, spontaneously. You'll speak correctly. We use the past tense with the expression it's time or it's high time. For example, it's time he got married. It's time he got married. It means that he did not get married in the past, but it's the right time now because he's been postponed for a long time, and this is the right time he should do this thing. So if you want to tell someone you should do it because you have been postponed, you have been wasting time, it's time you studied hard, it's time you got married, it's time you found a job. The last section, which is the most important section of all, not all, the most important, but it's a very important section. I'm gonna show you how to pronounce the question words like did he, did she, what did he, what did she. When you make questions, remember you need to use the auxiliary did and the subject and then the base verb, not the verb in the past. For example, did you have it? But when you pronounce this, did you have it? No one speaks like that. You need to pay attention to the functional words. Functional words are like did, you, and it. So the most important word in this sentence is have. So do you have it? Do you have it? So did you, it becomes one word like do. Do. So do you have it? It's almost like disappears. It almost disappears like do you have it? It. Do you have it? Do you eat it? Do you do it? So if you notice that the emphasis or the stress is only on the main word, which is the main verb, have, eat, and etc. So do you eat it? Do you have it? Do you go there? So pay attention to this. You need to practice. It's simple. Let's now practice how we should pronounce the auxiliary did with the pronouns I, he, she, etc. So that you can ask questions naturally like a native speaker. So you have did I. Did I, the first D is stressed. The second D, it comes between two vowels. This is called flap D. Flap D, you pronounce it like this. Did I? Did I? Did I? Did I go there? Did I tell you? Did I tell you? So it's like that. Did he go there? Do not say did he, say did he. Did he? Did he go there? Did he eat it? Did he have it? Etc. Did she go there? Do not say did she, you say did she. Did she? Did she do it? Did she? It's like the second D has been merged with the sh and it becomes just did she. She do it on purpose? Did she do it on purpose? Did she do it on purpose? Etc. So did it, because it becomes between two vowel, the same did I, did it. Did it play with it? Did it go? Did it go? So did they? Also did they, the second D has been merged with the sound. So did they do it? Did they do it? Did they do it? Did you? D and U is an interesting thing. D and U, when they become together, they are pronounced J. So, did you do it? Did you do it? What did you do? What did you do? So it's like that. So did you do it? It's easy this way, and you can do it. So did we do it? It's also like that. So again,
what did you do? Oh, what did I do?
What did you do? What did you do?
How did she do it, Valerie?
How did it go?